Welcome back to this brand new episode of Round 2 Wrestling. I am SlimmDa KID. Thank you for tuning in to this brand new podcast here on the 20th of December, 2022. We are 5 days away from Christmas Day and only 8 days away from Combat One Wrestling's Round 2 pay-per-view, but more on that at the end of this episode. We have a lot of information and goodies packed into this Christmas special, and we are not going to delay. Let's take a listen to the rumor mill. Alright, Sean Ross Sapp said WWE higher-ups he's talked to want nothing to do with a Vince McMahon return. As we said last week, it has been said several times through various news and pro wrestling rumor sites that Vince McMahon is coming back in some capacity to WWE. However, we here at Round 2 Wrestling find this to be false and are 100% behind this particular rumor that says WWE wants nothing to do with Vince McMahon, because why would they? They're doing just fine without him. With the Wall Street Journal reporting a McMahon return, WWE stock price dropped. PW Insider reports WWE may be forced to make a statement publicly if it gets any worse. So not even stock and trade holders want anything to do with Vince McMahon. He is kryptonite to WWE. Per WrestleVotes, Triple H and company are severely underwhelmed by some of the wrestlers recently signed. Fightful mentions WWE is heavily pushing John Cena's return to WWE on SmackDown as a must-see TV episode. Dave Meltzer notes that the Matt Riddle drug situation in WWE doesn't add up with their current wellness policy. Either WWE secretly changed its policy and didn't make those changes public, or something is up. Wrestling Observer Radio notes Japan's Stardom promotion initially turned down an offer to sign Sasha Banks due to Miss Banks' asking price being too high. Rumors of Goldberg signing a new WWE deal are false. Goldberg's contract expires at the end of this particular year. Former WWE wrestler and current Impact wrestler Deonna Purrazzo teases and hints at a WWE return by posting pictures of her on Raw from 3 years ago with Asuka. Plenty to think about over this next holiday week, but enough of the rumor mill. We are going to jump over to pro wrestling news. Former Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham has signed a deal with Impact Wrestling. WWE Network and Peacock announced they have added indie wrestling content from promotions ICW and WWW. At the time of this broadcast, I could not figure out what ICW and WWW was short for. If you, the listener and fan, knows that answer, feel free to leave that in the comments below, and I will be sure to make a correction on that at a later date. Wrestling Observer Radio recently announced Impact Wrestling and broadcast partner DAZN unable to showcase Impact Wrestling in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy due to existing deals with WWE. Ring of Honor TV is thought to be filmed at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. With Ring of Honor Honor Club streaming announced, Ring of Honor TV is expected in mid-January 2023. It's also teased that New Japan Pro Wrestling may be involved with Ring of Honor as well. This would be a big deal here in the United States if New Japan had some sort of American TV outlet to showcase and broadcast their promotion's talents. Tony Khan has a working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They did a cross-promotional pay-per-view this past summer called Forbidden Door, and it's already rumored that another pay-per-view, possibly a Forbidden Door 2, is already in the works between New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling. So this particular bit of news about Ring of Honor TV possibly working with New Japan is promising and seems to be more truthful than not. WWE held a dream match at a house show that few fans will see. AJ Styles took on WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther with the title on the line. Gunther retained via DQ. This was the first time AJ Styles and Gunther had faced each other. Former WWE wrestler Jack Gallagher took a TKO loss in his MMA debut. Gallagher was 2-0 going into this particular bout. Former WWE wrestler Velveteen Dream, real name Patrick Clark, has his arrest footage from August 2022 released by the TV show TMZ. These charges resulting from this particular arrest, which was a domestic abuse charge, I believe, those charges have been dropped by the party that was affected. So long, pro wrestling news. We are done with that little bit. Not too much gold was on the line this past week as it was last week, but we still had a decent amount of matches and a decent amount of titles were also defended. Let's jump over to those title matches here on Round 2 Wrestling and find out who retained and who are new champions. You gotta love the bell. GCW Extreme Champion Joey Janela defeated Pagano to retain the GCW Extreme Championship. GCW Tag Team Champions Los Mazizos defeated the Rock Ness Monsters to retain the GCW Tag Team titles. GCW World Champion Nick Gage defeated Tony Deppen, to retain the GCW World Championship. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Damage Control defeated Tegan Knox and Liv Morgan to retain the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther defeated Ricochet to retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship. AEW World Champion MJF defeated Ricky Starks to retain the AEW World Championship and to win the Dynamite Diamond Ring for a record-setting 4th time in a row. Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena defeated Vert Vixen to retain the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. The Motor City Machine Guns defeated Impact Tag Team Champions Heath and Rhino to become the new Impact Tag Team Champions. New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions the Motor City Machine Guns defeated Stray Dog Army to retain the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. A little side note, I personally, that is SlimmDa KID here on Round 2 Wrestling, would love to see a dream match between two tag teams. Both are double title holders. FTR and the Motor City Machine Guns are both dual champions, and I would love to see 4 titles on the line against these two tag teams. Whether or not we'll actually see that has yet to be seen. After all, 2022 is almost over. MLW National Openweight Champion Davey Richards defeated S.B. Kento to retain the MLW Openweight Championship. All right, we are almost at the conclusion of this particular broadcast. We are going to dive into a fan and producer favorite. Did you know our little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about? Alright, did you know the WWF/WWE title is over 55 years old? Bruno Sammartino held the title for 11 of those 55 years, or approximately 20% of the title's history. Did you know the youngest United States champion of all time, either in NWA, WCW, or WWE, is David Flair at the ripe old age of 20 years old? Did you know the very last WCW Tag Team Champions were the Dudley Boys while in the WWF? Did you know in the year 2000, Major League Baseball team Boston Red Sox were up for sale? Then WWE owner and CEO Vince McMahon seriously considered buying the Red Sox. Did you know in his entire in-ring career, Hulk Hogan has only been pinned cleanly by 14 other wrestlers? Did you know back in 2017, Brock Lesnar was the highest paid wrestler in the world, making $12 million for the year? He only wrestled a total of 13 matches that year, which equals out to slightly less than $1 million per match. Did you know former WCW mogul Eric Bischoff was a clothing model for the retail giant Target? Did you know the WWF World Title changed hands 11 times in the year 1999, the most title changes in a year for that particular championship? Did you know the Junkyard Dog was the first black wrestler to get a doll made after his likeness? LJN made the figure back in the far-off year of 1985. Did you know former AWA and WCW announcer Lee Marshall was the voice of Kellogg's cereal mascot, Tony the Tiger? Alright, it wouldn't be a Christmas special without doing something Christmassy, so let's talk about Christmas wrestling before we close out this particular episode. Pro wrestling and Christmas have a long history. Promotions across the USA used to air special cards for this holiday all the time. Here are a few matches that took place on Christmas Day that stand out above the rest. On Christmas Day, back in 1986, AWA Brawl in St. Paul took place. This was a match between the Midnight Rockers, also known as Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, against Buddy Rose and Doug Sommers in a steel cage match. The winners of this particular match are unknown because this match cannot be seen in the USA on the Peacock streaming network. Another Christmas classic took place on Christmas Day 1994 in the Smoky Mountain Wrestling territory. This was called Christmas Chaos, and it was the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Gangstas, taking on the Rock and Roll Express. The winners of this bout could not be found. WCW Live had a Christmas special in 1991. WCW Light Heavyweight Champion Brian Pillman took on Jushin Thunder Liger. Liger would pin Pillman to become the new WCW Light Heavyweight Champion. WCCW Christmas Star Wars took place on Christmas Day in 1982. NWA Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair took on Kerry Von Erich in a no disqualification steel cage match. All right, thank you for tuning into this episode of Round 2 Wrestling. Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year.